Hello YouTube, this is Sir Topham Hackerai showing you a neat little video, I guess, of... Hold on, let's go to somewhere, not so noisy. Is this it? Hopefully this is it. Yes. So, I'm actually going to exit driver. We're going to go to edit session. So, as you may have guessed from the title, this is me recreating Gensokyo as a Trainz route. So, for a little bit of context for the people who like Trainz but don't know what a don't know what a Gensokyo is. Oh, I should really mute Cookie Clicker. Yeah, I have Cookie Clicker running in the background. But never mind that. So Gensokyo is the weird little Japanese fantasy land from the series of Japanese video games called Touhou Project that have this huge niche fan base or whatever. It's a series of vertical shoot 'em ups called with a specific subgenre of such called bullet hell, where it's less about getting a high score and shooting down enemies. It's more so about dodging the bullet patterns the enemies make. For the Touhou fans that don't understand what I'm doing, Trainz is a series of train simulation software in which you drive trains along a route. This is Gensokyo, made in Trainz A New Era, and it is a work in progress. So what we have right here is the Hackerai Shrine. So a little thing I should say about this route is that it kinda sorta doesn't look like Gensokyo like at all. This is just due to what assets I have on hand, whether I got them from DLC or from the download station, which is a service the developers have where you can download things like locomotives, buildings, track, etc., etc., etc. So this is the Hackerai Shrine, or at least a close approximation of it. I know it kind of sucks, looks more like the Majoran Shrine, the Majoran Temple. Deal with it. So this is the Hackerai Shrine station yard. Here we have sidings for carriages, a small goods yard, and a location for storing locomotives. Here we have a Great Western 57XX pannier tank and a Stanier Black 5. Now, if you're a Touhou fan and you're a locomotive and you're a railway enthusiast, you would have realized by now I am using British locomotives on a Japanese route. First off, I just like British locomotives, okay? I'm a huge Thomas fan, and I just love British locomotives. Deal with it. I also use British rolling stock. Also deal with it. So here we have the shed, which is a 2-track shed, quite long, can store quite a few locomotives, and in the back there's a buffer stop. Here, going from the shed, it goes to this turntable where locomotives can be turned around unless they're a diesel, and if you know anything about British diesels, is that they have a cab at either end. Going here, we have coaling station past the goods yard and right into the goods yard. Here is a small goods shed for loading, unloading goods, and a small-ish train of vans, which would carry the goods. Over here, going into at the end of the station and getting back, this is the Hackerai Shrine Station. It is a 2-platform station, and it's got a bridge, it's got 2 platforms, albeit one of them's a dummy platform and not actually is useful for passengers. So, by the way, this route is feature complete, so you can load and unload passengers, load and unload goods. So it's not just a route where you drive trains from point A to point B, there's actual activities to do here. Here is another turntable, but this turntable is meant for trains who are preparing for their return journey. followed by another coaling station. Over here are water towers, and that's for refilling steam locomotives. This route is designed in mind for both steam and diesel. However, there will be a section in Kappa Valley where you can drive electric locomotives. So, anyway, things to note about the Hakurai Shrine Station. It is at the end of the main line. And, by the way, the main line is only complete to, like, the first 2 stations after the Hakurai Shrine. So, the main line goes from the Hakurai Shrine in the west, because that's my headcanon for the location of the Hakurai Shrine, and then goes all the way to the Moria Shrine in the west. Here's the east, there's the west. The middle station of the middle section of the main line is the human village, where all the locomotives for the main line are stored. There's also some other branch lines, including one that I'll feature right now. So the Hakurai Shrine Station not only is the end of the main line, but is also the terminus of the Kirindu/Forest of Magic branch line. So if we follow the main line here, we leave the station throat and go down the main line. We're going down the main line, and then we head to this. So here is a small switch, or 2 switches in fact, that allows trains to go onto the Kirindu branch line. And here is the branch line. So this is a branch line that is single track. However, it is punctuated by passing loops. So basically what would happen is that if a train is going one direction and another is going in the opposite, one of them goes onto this siding over here, and this will allow for the other train to pass them, allowing bi-directional travel. Here we come to the first station of the Kirindu branch line / Forest of Magic branch line, and this station is called Magician's Halt. This is named for the fact that this would be the residence of where Marissa Kurisam would be / Alice Murgatroyd. They're both magicians, hence the name of the station. Passing here, we get to a small passing loop and another branch. This is a sub-branch that leads to a logging camp. Here in this logging camp is, well, this is where logs would be loaded and be brought to another station to be turned into lumber. Here we have a Class 17 Clayton. Here it's making loads of noise, and that would be the locomotive responsible for this logging camp. So we go back over here, we go back here, and we reach another small halt called Ferry's Landing. Again, small station, nothing remarkable, moving on. So, coming over here, we reach a water column, and we reach Kirindu. So, Kirindu is meant to be this huge shopping center. I know it's only supposed to be, canonically, it's just this one medium-ish building. But here in Trainz, I've conflated it to a flippin' town. This is because I couldn't find a suitable shop building and just resorted to using a whole bunch and just calling the damn place a bazaar. There are some houses because, you know, wherever the railway goes, there's kind of settlements because in Gensokyo, even if you build a railroad, small settlements will sort of build up around the stations. And so, over time, these little settlements become towns and villages, and the railroad would essentially just make it so that way it's easier to transport large amounts of goods and humans, and avoiding the wrath of the yokai, in essence. Here we entered a unfinished area, and this is the Kirindu warehouse. So this is a large goods yard, in which goods are loaded and unloaded and taken elsewhere. Here is a BR class 08 shunter in BR blue with some vans, not tankers. Whoops. Here is King Edward II, a Great Western Railway King class locomotive. That I literally just put there because I just wanted it to, just so I could test it out. And here is a balloon loop. So this will allow trains coming in from this end of the yard to go down this track, go around this, and then come out the other end, going in the opposite direction. So trains stopping at platform 2 would go along the loop, while trains at platform 1 would just sort of reverse in the opposite direction. This is where locomotives with push-pull equipment would do their trains. Or drivers who are just really careful and really know the route and they're psychic. So let's go back to the main line. Let's go back to the Hakurai Shrine Station. And let's begin our journey down the main line. So here is Hakurai Shrine once again. Let's zip along the main line. So I try to add as much track as possible just to give this some sort of realistic scale. Zune has not, to my knowledge, has not given out an exact size of Gensokyo. So I honestly wouldn't know how big or how small Gensokyo is, and thus the size of the railroad in terms of distance between stations. The island of Sodor in Thomas the Tank Engine Friends / the Railway series is about, I want to say, 60, 65, maybe 67 miles wide from the east end of the island to the west end. I wouldn't know the exact length of Gensokyo, but I assume it would be bigger than that. And here is a station that has yet to have a town developed around it called Lower Hakurai. Lower Hakurai is literally just the lower station from the Hakurai Shrine, or a lower village from there. Here, this two-track main line develops into a 4-track main line. So we head down here. Here's a bunch of points to allow trains to pass. And this is probably the most unfinished section of the route, because here we come across to another station, Ferry's End. Here we have a pretty substantial goods yard, with a shed where goods are unloaded and a place for coal to be unloaded. Here there is literally no terrain, no trees, no nothing. There's 2 water towers, but that's just to top off steam engines going in either direction. Here, the main line turns back into 2 tracks, but that's because there are no 4-track tunnels in this game. So here, it goes into a tunnel through this range of hills and plateaus, because I wanted some geographical diversity in this. Mostly because I really wanted a tunnel. Here, the main line would, I would think, go back to maybe 3 tracks. Not really sure 4 tracks, but definitely 3 or 4 tracks at this point. And this is the part of the map where there's nothing really done. So yeah, this is my Gensokyo route. The work that's been done so far. I have been sort of picking and chewing and working my way through this in little bits, because this is a project that is essentially a side project of a side project of a project. But, you know, I would, from time to time, add a little bit more here, add a little bit more there. Yeah, I might make a video detailing an operating session involving trains moving goods and passengers on the Kirindu branch. But that would be a later video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.